what is up, my buttercups? It is Amy and
Jerry,
my love. Mwah. We are coming to you. Which day is this?
Yeah. Wednesday.
Wednesday. Very good. And Mr. Man has a CBI trip today. I think they're going to the dollar store. So, yeah, he's got a few dollars in the wallet to go shopping today. Yeah, so we're just coming to you Wednesday morning. Going to get this work grind and school grind going on and all that. Yeah, it was a very exciting day yesterday. The doctor went really well. It went a lot different than I thought it was going to go. Let's put it that way. Part of it was thinking that we were going to have to be dealing with him getting blood work and stuff like that. They haven't even started any of that yet. I come to find out the blood work that they need has to be covered by the insurance, that they put like a pre-authorization in for it. But yeah, I got informed of quite a few things I was actually kind of surprised about. Well, I was, but I wasn't, I guess you could say. We went to the geneticist yesterday, and there was 2 females working with us. The first female did like all the preliminary stuff. She did all the questionings of, you know, how my pregnancy went and all this other stuff, what ran in our family and didn't, and all that great stuff. And then brought a secondary doctor in for an exam. And they did a generalized exam, but some of the things they did during the exam was like really kind of odd. And I'm like, this is like really, really strange. So they were taking like measurements of his head, measurements of his hands and feet. They were examining his knuckles, which I've been complaining about for a couple of years now because his knuckles always look bad for me. He went through it all, and, you know, they were looking at his mouth. They were looking at the distance between his eyes. And, yeah, it was like they really, like, kind of put it into depth, you know, what they were looking for. So, needless to say, after they got done doing the examination and everything, we were speaking with the doctor. And this is going to sound weird, but when she said this, I almost was a little relieved. That sounds weird. Weird to get a weird prognosis and then, like, feel good about it like that, you know? You'll understand what I mean in a second. The doctor believes that he definitely has traits of Fragile X, which but I was not surprised. But I found out a lot of the symptoms for that diagnosis matches a lot of what Jared's going through right now. They were talking about, like, the size of his head is a little bit bigger than normal and stuff like that. They said sometimes, you know, people with Fragile X, depending on how severe it is, they can have hydrocephalus and all that other stuff, which they don't think that's the case with Jared. But with the size of his head, they said has to do with, like, the shape of his mouth and his teeth, and then the distance between his eyes, because I was asking them why they were doing all these peculiar measurements, and they said these are some of the, like, kind of warning signs and whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay. And apparently with, like, Fragile X, if behavior problems occur with that diagnosis, it usually ends up starting around puberty. So she went through some of the symptoms and, like, that Fragile X typically deals with, and one of them is, you know, aggression, very, you know, antsy and stuff like that, and like different things, how he communicates and all that. And she was going through some of these symptoms, and I'd say probably out of 10 of these symptoms, nine of them hit Jared right on the head. So it's going with the belief right now that he does have a Fragile X diagnosis, which honestly I probably should be upset about, but I'm really not. Honestly, it's almost like a breath of relief, because I'm feeling like we actually got some kind of an answer, if that makes sense.
Bye.
Yeah, so yeah, so it was nice to be able to, I shouldn't say nice, but, like, it was good to be able to learn this information and maybe have a good, solid explanation of what is going on with him. We started asking management questions, like, as far as, like, is there certain medicines he should or should not be on, and this, that, and other thing. And, you know, they kind of went through a little bit of it, but they were like, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get all the blood work through first, and we'll go from there. And they were asking when he was going in for his next MRI, and I said, as soon as we get this dental appointment cleared out, and the doctor like kind of gave me a look, and I said, he's got to get knocked out for the dentist. And she was like, oh, okay. And I said, I just didn't want to put them too close together, you know, like knockout kind of thing, you know. Too much anesthesia might do some damage too, I don't know. So, yeah, so probably I'm thinking sometime in July we're going to probably schedule his MRI. So we'll see. We'll see how that rolls. So, but yeah, that was our definitive thing that happened from yesterday. He had a very, very good day, considering, you know, he was poked and prodded a little bit and whatnot. And left early school. His behaviors were very, very good and everything. He's had no problems or whatever. Knock on wood. So, yeah, but so, dude, what be the rules? And we use our, not our, and there is no, and no, and no, and we keep our, and our, best. Very, very good. Great job, bud. Yeah, so we got through our rules, we got through our day as far as morning, as far as that goes, and just gonna wait for the bus now, and see where the rest of the day takes us. Hey guys, it's Amy and Jared. Yep, so we finally got our new furniture delivered. Alright, so we got our new furniture. This is the new sofa. And I did not even realize this, but actually, this sofa is a little bit bigger than the brown one that I had. But yeah, so that's a new sofa. And I like it. I do. I liked it, but the stitching on it's a little strange. It's like a white stitching, but I guess it's, you know, it's all part of the style, I guess. But yeah, and some cool looking pillows to go with. So yeah, very pleased, very, very pleased. So, and then the chase lounge is even a little bit bigger too. Hey, maybe I can curl up tonight. So yeah, little man's getting a little wiry, so we're gonna throw him in a shower in a minute and get him his medicine in him. Hey, what is up, buttercups? It is Amy and Jared Love. So, dude, we are coming to you on what day?
Thursday.
We are here on a Thursday morning welcoming you. And, dude, what be the rules? And we use our, not our, and there is no, and no, and no, and we keep our, and our, best. Very, very good, buddy. Mwah. Yeah, so apparently we had a good day yesterday. He had a good day at his CBI trip that they did yesterday, which is awesome. Always glad he does a good job at stuff. And yeah, he had his meeting at school with Dr. Dave. Apparently, I am very, very interested to see what his take was on his visit yesterday. Yeah, there was a lot of texting going on back and forth between David and myself while the meeting was going, you know, while he was, you know, about his day, you know, giving me different things to do and fill out. And yeah, they made one decision, and it was something David noticed. Definitely the vest is a component in part of this. Part of that component is the heat factor. The heat, the hot, the oversensitivity to the medication, not regulating his temperature and whatnot. So, yeah. Yeah, so that was one final decision that was made. And then we're going to talk about the rest today. You know, he said he really talked to everyone at the school and trying to get a better idea of what exactly is going on over there and all that. So, yeah, he's been doing good. So, we'll see how that works with the vest thingy. And then, let's see, what else we got going on today? We got Matthew coming over. We're going to have our little team meeting this afternoon. Yeah, let's see what they think of my new furniture. Yeah, that sofa, it's really nice. Actually, I probably like that sofa a lot more than I like the brown one that I had. It's probably about, I guess, 6 or 7 inches longer on the length side of the sofa. The chase part of it, the chase lounge part of it, definitely is larger, you could tell. Jared has been very gentle with it, hasn't been flopping, which is good. That's a good thing. So, yeah. So we'll see where the day takes us. I got my work grind. Little man's got his school grind today. So we're gonna, yeah, we're gonna relax and wait for this bus to get here. And see where the day takes us. Hey, what's up, buttercups? It's Amy. It is Thursday evening. We have ended our day today. We had a pretty productive day. Mr. Dr. Dave came out and we got to chit-chat for a little bit, and he got to see firsthand some of the craziness that goes on in my complex. I was almost a little embarrassed, but yeah, it was just, we have our local residential nut jobs there in here, and I use that word very, very, very gently because of, you know, not liking to offend people, but these people, yeah, I don't know. And some of the people in this courtyard just got some serious issues. And I've got classifications for them. I think I might even went over this once or twice. We have over-medicated, under-medicated, self-medicated, not medicated at all, and that's pretty much it. That it comes down to that. And yeah, there's just the one woman that's out here right now, like, she actually, I found out, is getting evicted. She definitely has some issues. Clear schizophrenia issues. There is no doubting that. You don't even need to be a psychiatrist to even know that. She sits there and talks to all the voices in her head while she's walking around the courtyard and blah, blah, blah. But the problem is she seems to not get along very well with children. And every time there are children out in the courtyard, or there's children's toys out in the courtyard or anything like that, she gets so bent out of shape. It's like ridiculous. Well, my one neighbor had her children outside yesterday afternoon, and this woman, they were minding their business. They weren't being rude. They weren't being loud in front of her house. None of that. They were just like tossing a football back and forth and riding their bikes. That's all they were doing. And this woman came down to them, started screaming at them, "How dare you be playing in this courtyard?" And like really, really manic crazy. And yeah, with that, it's funny because all the parents, they kind of know what's the deal. And it's funny because my upstairs neighbor told my next door upstairs neighbor, it was her children, what was going on. She came downstairs, came knocking on my door, like, what, you know, I'm like, oh my God. And the funniest thing about this whole situation, half of these things that happen, never hear them, ever. And I'm like on a first floor apartment, right in the middle of the courtyard. Do I hear anything? No, of course not. I don't hear a damn thing. And I found out about it the following day. Tells you how out of touch I am, right? I kind of blockade myself in my apartment most of the time. But yeah, so that was that. And apparently Dr. Dave had a good meeting at school, and God help me, hopefully it was somewhat productive. We will see. People call me while I'm vlogging, really? My son's doctor's office verifying my appointment for tomorrow. Yeah. So apparently there was productive, and hopefully the line of communication is going to get better and all that great stuff. We'll see. So, but also, since I really haven't done much vlogging today, and it occurred to me, it is on Thursday. And I also have noticed, it kind of has occurred to me, I haven't done too many dental updates or stories. So I was thinking, a little throwback story. might be interesting. I guess probably the best one to tell would be my very first serious loss of tooth matter. I should say it was a loss. I was 18. Basically, this is like the story of like how a lot of my dental problems started out. I mean, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna tell my age because you know what? I look good for my age. I just turned 47 in April. And my dental issues started when I was 18. So it wasn't for like lack of care or anything like that. It's just with the problems that I have, with the arthritis that I have, the medicines I have, it has just torn the hell up out of my teeth. So back when I was 18, didn't have much as far as medication went. And I mean, I was having on and off issues with pain and stuff like that, but just kind of, we kept running it off as like growing pains kind of a thing, you know. And nothing was ever thought of it. But I went to bed one night feeling perfectly fine, no problem. Actually, I think I even had a steak dinner the night before with no problem. Woke up in the morning looking like I got whacked in the face with a baseball. Well, my grandmother, I will remember, never ever forget her reaction when I came downstairs. Because at the time, I had just moved in with my grandmother and my aunt after my mother passed away. So I was having a lot of other issues on top of that. That's a whole other ball of wax. But I woke up and my upper lip going all the way up here to my eye was out here swollen. Couldn't figure out why. And my grandmother swore up and down I got into a fight. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I said I was fine. You know, I went to bed and woke up. So, you know, she asked me if I was in pain. And weirdly enough, I wasn't. And usually, like, when you have a tooth infection or something, you're in a lot of pain, you know. Nothing. No problem whatsoever. So, my grandmother decided to take me to this dentist. And they did a little once over. And he took one look at me. He's like, you have a very bad abscess in your gum, in your tooth. And I was like, but it doesn't hurt. And he said, well, that's because the nerve is blocked right now with the infection. He said, this whole swelling is nothing. He said, it's going to sound nasty. He said, but it's pus. He said, somehow you have some kind of infection that took hold in the root in my front tooth. It started with this front tooth. And I was like, okay, so how do we fix it? Well, best thing, how do we take care of roots? Root canals. Never had one before. At that point, I had been to the dentist many times over the years. I had braces and dental cleanings, the whole 9 yards, whatever. I think, no big deal. It's a root canal. Oh boy. Well, needless to say, the doctor tried 3 different times. 3 times. To put Novocaine in around the area so they could do what they had to do. Well, every time he went to stick me with the needle, I mean, it hurt, but it wasn't that painful. But he's sitting there struggling with it, and I'm thinking, what the heck is he doing? And after the 3rd time, I heard a pop, and I'm like, what the hell? You know, here the needle broke. And not in my mouth. It broke, like, when he went to squeeze the stuff in. At that time, they were still using glass syringes. Apparently, that tells you how long ago that was. Well, apparently when he pushed on the plunger, the glass part broke. None of it went in my mouth or anything like that. Fun hasn't started yet. And he said, Ari, I have some bad news for you. And I'm like, okay. He's like, we definitely need to do a root canal for you. He said, but we have one major problem. And I'm like, what is that? He's like, we cannot numb you. He said, I've tried it 3 different times to inject Novocaine. He said, there's nowhere to inject it. He said, your infection is so bad, it's like almost solid. He said, there's no way to get the Novocaine in there. So I'm thinking, okay, well, you're telling me there's so much pressure build up that it's pressing on the nerve and, you know, it'll be fine, you know. I didn't know any better. Well, needless to say, the reason and the sole choking reason I am so terrified of dentists, he decided to start root canal with no Novocaine in my mouth. Oh, Lord. And didn't even get that far. He had to start drilling and he had to go behind the tooth to get some kind of an evacuation hole, you know, so it started draining. Drilled right up into the tooth. Oh my God, I cannot even tell you how hard I was screaming. My grandmother damn near broke into the doctor's office ready to kill somebody. She thought somebody was trying to, like, mass murder me. It was screaming that bad. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Finally, he popped it through, and I will never forget this as long as I live. But the taste. I'm just thinking about it. It's like... the taste of whatever was going on in there, I don't even want to know what the hell I was tasting. It was just the most foulest, nastiest, whatever that was coming out. But he popped it, or I guess it got, like, popped through to where the infection was, and just, it started spurting and spurting, and it wasn't even blood. It was infection coming out. I had to lay there for a half an hour with drainage, with a drain hose hanging out of my mouth and just sucking all this stuff out. So after it started slowing down a little bit, I mean, the tears are going, I'm still crying, I was like flipping out. And my grandmother was like, "What are you doing to my granddaughter?" And she's freaking out. And the doctor's like, "Well, at this point, we're not going to do anything else." I'm like, "Thank you, sweet Jesus." And, but had to leave the hole in my tooth so it could drain. Well, with that, we left the doctor's office, and for the rest of the day, I did nothing but get sick. I was so sick. Just between the taste and the smell of it, and oh, I can't even describe it. It was like a mixture of mushed up, like, earthworms with a little bit of red something and disgusting tasting, like, leftover chicken that, like, was a month old. I don't even know how to even describe it. It was just the nastiest stuff I've ever even encountered in my life. I would probably eat earthworms before I would go through that again. But yeah, that was the start of my dental fear. Yeah, I thought that'd be a fun throwback story for my dental fam out there, since I haven't really talked too much about my teeth, you know. But yeah, that was so much fun, let me just tell you. But yeah, so that's my throwback story for that. Needless to say, tooth got fixed, everything went fine. I got a crown put on it. The crown lasted me a good 30 years. Not too bad, right? Didn't know me much. Yeah, so they put what they called at the time a hockey crown on. I guess for people who played hockey, you know, the extra bonding or whatever, I don't know. So, yeah, and it did. It lasted me for quite a while and never had problems with it. And then when I really started having a lot of recent dental problems and had to really go get all my teeth done again, you know, that was one of the teeth that kept coming loose was the crown on it. Well, part 2 of that Throwback Thursday story was one morning I woke up, and at this point the crown was still a little on the loose side. So we kept just kind of patching and fixing. You know, you get them little dental things at the store, you know, the paste that you can push it back in and whatever, and all that stuff. That's how I was dealing with it. One morning I woke up with a sneezing fit, and this is how I lost my tooth altogether. I went and had a big old achoo going on, and as I achooed, these 2 teeth just went flying out of my mouth. and I was upset about it, but I had to laugh too, because I'm like, only I would be able to lose a tooth via sneezing. Yeah, that was my part 2 part on that, so... Yeah, so I just figured I'd shout that out for my little dental family. I figured they'd appreciate that little throwback story. Yeah, so at this rate, I'm going to close out my vlog. And thank you for hearing me rabbling on and everything else. One thing I do want to mention to you guys are phenomenal. You guys are awesome supporters to me. I just randomly checked my subscriber list, and I cannot believe I am that close to almost 300 people mark. I'm up to 300 subscribers already. Not too shabby. I mean, I started this hardcore journey and trying to build my channel up only a couple months ago, and I'm already there. All right. So apparently people like to phone call me when I'm in the middle of vlogging. Yeah, so but yeah, I have close to 300 subscribers already. It's just amazing. Like, you people are amazing. I love you guys. Yeah, you know, and I will do my best to keep up with the content and keep you all updated. If you guys have questions or, you know, suggestions or anything like that, always open to that. In the meanwhile, guys, I appreciate if you could hit a like, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you know when I'm posting next. And I will catch y'all later.